everyone, welcome to a new season on iRacing Season 4 2020. It's round 1 at Watkins, Glen International for the Grand Prix Legends Series live right here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Don't despair, your favourite commentary duo has not been split apart, but unfortunately your favourite Austrian is sick and your favourite Australian steps in. My name's Ryan Jones, and alongside me is also Ryan Walker. Sean Ambrose behind the scenes, work on the cameras using the cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Why don't we dive down then and take a little bit of a closer look at the Watkins Glen facility with our GSRC track guide.
Welcome to Watkins Glen International. Situated in upstate New York, just south of the Finger Lakes, this track has seen it all. Few road circuits can boast hosting Formula One, IndyCar, NASCAR, and IMSA during its history. Though it did have a brief fallow period in the early 80s, thanks to the investment of local companies, it's grown into one of the premier road tracks in the U.S. With 4 layouts to choose from that range between 2.5 and 3.5 miles in length, lap times can vary greatly. But it also means it's suitable for lots of different levels of racing, from amateur to pro. The one thing that stays consistent no matter which car and which layout you're using is that Watkins Glen means speed. Many of the straights are very long, and the majority of the corners are fast sweepers. Some of them include a surprising amount of banking as well. Combine that with the proximity of the barriers, and this historic circuit retains a very old-school feel. Drivers in lesser-powered cars can expect drafting battles, while higher-powered machinery will test the skill and bravery of their pilots. Some of the turns are visually iconic, such as the carousel and the S's. Others, like the inner loop, the chute, and turn 9, greatly challenge even the expertly skilled. And of course, we haven't even mentioned the drastic amount of elevation change drivers experience. Between its rich history and popularity among drivers, this track stays busy and seems likely to be that way for a long, long time.
There's a look at the GSRC track guide. Gotta say, it's looking a bit darker right now than it did in those glorious shots provided to us. So, what more can you tell us about this racetrack, Ryan?
Yeah, this track is absolutely fantastic. It's one of my favourites on the iRacing service. And yeah, it's had a history of running real life series like the IMSA series, formerly known as the WeatherTech Sport Cars Championship. And it hosts NASCAR as well. But some little details about the track that we'll be racing at today. We will be using the classic layout, or the classic book layout rather, which has got 11 turns, is 3.4 miles or 5.47 kilometers if you prefer to use that, and it is located close to New York.
Yeah, and located in the New York state it is, and the classic layout takes away my favorite part of the racetrack, the dog leg or the bus stop, whatever you want to call it. But it does add some wild moments down into that carousel. Big thanks go to everyone, really. But what I was going to say is, if you want to get your company involved with the Global SimRacing Channel, you can, because with over 1 million impressions each and every month, it is a fantastic opportunity to get your brand seen by a broad audience. Just head to the link in the description to find out more about that. Last season, we wrapped up a fantastic 12 or 13 weeks of action, and these are how the championship standings looked at the end of that. Ryan, talk us through it.
So yeah, the championship at the end of last season in the final round at Daytona was an absolute thriller. It went right down to the wire, and that was battled out between Rob Olenek and Mick Claridge, with Olenek eventually coming out as the winner after some major contact with Claridge, which sent him rolling rather. But Ove Trengrade from Norway finished in third place. Fourth place was Nicola Cocci from Italy, and Rafael Dorado rounded out the top 5, who improved massively as the season went on. And Ryan, I believe you've got the standings for the F2 Championship.
Yeah, so taking the F2 honours at the end of it all was Antti Karanen, 326 points. I think suffice to say he ran away with that one. Colin Bentley finishing second, his points total just half that of the winner. Paco Risto just missed out in second. He was third. David Rossi fourth. And Andrew Ng in fifth. Nations Cup as well. It went the way of the UK. I don't know if I'm happy with this or not. I suppose I should be. I was born there. But still, US finishes second. Italy third. Norway fourth. Netherlands fifth. Hey, at least we beat the US. So, race details. Let's give everyone a nice refresher on how tonight's going to play out.
So yeah, if you're a newcomer to the series that's racing in it or just watching, and you're wondering what the details are, this is the first round of a 12-round season. Last season it was a 13-round season because I can't remember why, but anyway, it's 20 laps of a standing start, and the setup is open as always. So if you want to make any changes, tyre pressure, camber, ride height, that sort of thing, you're free to do so. The incident limit is 17x. That'll be a penalty, and if you get to 25x or over, you will be unfortunately disqualified from the race.
Yeah, that's not great. Hey, we've been saved. Huzzah, the bus stop is here. My favourite part of the circuit will be in use today. So we'll see these Lotus 49 beauties getting through their single file, one would hope. It's certainly not a place where I'd encourage side by side, but it is a place where the opportunistic driver can potentially pull off an overtaking opportunity. So, right now, in qualifying, 2 laps, 8 minutes to do so. Mick Claridge is fastest after the first lap, a 45.378, 3 tenths in hand over Rob Olichnak in second, and Claridge now coming into that bus stop. 2 very big apexes where you can use a lot of the curbing. Then you've really got to make sure you're pinpoint accurate for the second half of there as we look further back on the racetrack.
Absolutely. Looking at Rafael Dorado at the moment, who's in the middle of a qualifying lap, and Rafael was one of those drivers that he had a slow start to the season, but he improved massively as the season went on, and he, like we saw in the standings, managed to finish in the top 5, and that was a great result for him. And I think this season, if he can keep out of trouble and he can be really quick in every race this season, he could be the underdog in this championship.
Well, let's see how his second lap stacks up, needing half a second to eclipse Mick Claridge up at the top. He's not going to get it, but he will go to second place. Not bad at all. Mick Claridge, meanwhile, yet to finish his second lap, coming to the line now is Bill Tyler in 6th. He will stay 6th as he goes quite a bit slower on that lap. Dare say he's made a mistake somewhere around this 5.4 kilometer circuit. Here comes Mick Claridge then. Can he improve on a 145.378? No, he can't. Goes half a second slower. And what about Pavlovsky? Sitting 17th. No longer 17th. Make that 11th. That is a very good improvement.
That was a good improvement indeed, but I was expecting him to be further up the grid as we look at Yuri Giesen now coming around the final few corners to complete his lap, and yeah, Giesen's one of those drivers. He seems to race in anything that he's a massive fan of racing and just jumps into anything. We saw him in the Camel GT series coming around the final corner now to complete his qualifying lap, and it looks like he might improve as he comes across the line now. No, he doesn't improve.
Only half a tenth away from improving. Well, consistency is there at least, which will pay off well in our 20-lap race. That's a locked inside front from Chris Murakami. He's done a 47.196, and that will stay as his fastest lap because the second lap has already been completed. That was a 47.228. What he could do here is practice his pit entry. Antonio Rees is 13th. He's also on lap number 3. So he will probably turn right, or extra right when he gets off the final corner here. Nope, you're going to keep on going. Why not? Gary Teal as well, still circulating. He is still on lap number 2. With 28 seconds remaining in the session, I'd say his chances of getting to the finish line stand at 0. So unfortunately, no matter how good this lap is, he won't improve.
Yeah, it's just that it looks like he might just run out of time, and It looks like, judging by the standings at the moment, it looks like everyone's basically done all their qualifying laps.
They have. So, you know what time it is. It's time to look through our starting grid from Watkins, Glen, via the Grand Prix Legends, Season 4, 2020. Mick Claridge is on the pole. Rafael Dorado will start from second. Rob Olnick starts from third. Nikolai Kochi starts from fourth. Ove Trengreed starts from fifth. Philip Lake from sixth. Bill Tyler seventh. Alessandro Parigi in eighth. Sebastian Tixier in ninth, and Gary Thiel in 10th.
Germany's Roman Pawlowski starts in 11th. Alongside him is the Dutchman Yuri Giesen. Antonio Rees starts in 13th, with Marikami in 14th. 15th is Marlon Williams. Thomas Torp in 16th. Paul Forster 17th. Robert Plumley in 18th. PJ Gowdy, good to see him in the series, starting in 19th. And rounding out the 20 is Jan Lehmann.
Last four drivers on the grid will be Lars Olsen, John Vitrano, Osmar Schultz, and Colin Bentley. 24 drivers. He was the only one not to set a time, but he has gridded up. So we will see him. Weather for these drivers is pretty standard. Not too hot, not too cold. 36 degrees Celsius out there on the racetrack. 26 degrees air temp. Bit of wind, bit of humidity. As I've always said, I've yet to delve that far into the meteorologist's degree. I don't know what effect that's going to have. And there's the Fahrenheit conversions for all of you US citizens out there. Just waiting on the last few drivers to grid up, and then the glorious sounds of these Lotus 49s will be, well and truly, music to the ears as we get underway for the first time this season on GSRC in the Grand Prix Legends Series. There's the lights, there's the revs, looking for the green. Lights out, green flag, away we go. And that is a fantastic start for Mick Claridge. And Dorado's having to cover because he has got a whole lot of pressure from behind. As we file into turn one, there's contact. And getting shuffled out to the outside was Kochi. I think he's got away with it.
Yeah, that was a great start by Mick Claridge. He managed to get off the line beautifully and with no issues. And Dorado might have just got too much wheels going off the line, but Claridge is going away slightly, and Dorado is the one having to watch his back.
Oh, Philip Lake almost understeering into the Armco on the outside, on the exit of the S's there. He drops a spot as a result to Alessandro Parigi as we filter through the bus stop for the first time, lap 1 of 20. You've got to give some margin here through one of the trickier sections on the racetrack, and now into the boot section. Labeled such because from overhead it looks, well, a bit like a boot.
Indeed. And it looks like at the moment everyone's managed to survive so far in lap 1, and there's not been any issues from what I can see.
So Claridge leads us. Dorado has retained second. In third, it is still Olinik. Trengarold has gained one up to fourth, and Kochi's dropped one back to fifth. So that's the only changes there. Alessandro Parigi's picked up a couple spots though, and Lake's dropped one. Tixier's up one. Gary Thiel as well. They are all stacked up behind Yuri Giesian though. Bill Tyler trying to find a way by, and Antonio Rees looking for a route through. You could add Chris Murakami to the mix as well. Rees almost lost it. Gathers it up.
Yeah, that was a great save by Antonio. He got sideways on the entry, and I thought he was going to spin into the wall, but he amazingly managed to save it and keep hold of the car, and yeah, still managed to keep going.
Meanwhile, Bill Tyler's got to the inside of Geisen, up through the S's. They run wheel to wheel, and eventually Tyler says, you know what? No. But then it's a slide from Geisen, and that allows Tyler back alongside. Even if he didn't want to be there, he is there, and into the bus stop. He's got the preferred line, late on the brakes. He takes the spot away and puts himself up into P10.
Yeah, that was a great move by Tyler. He managed to get inside and get the move done before the bus stop. And yeah, I think Yuri just decided that this early stage of the race, there's no point making a fight of it at the moment. As back up at the front as well, it's still Mick Claridge leading the race from Rafael. Actually, Rafael Dorado's managed to catch back up to him, so Mick Claridge's got a bit of a fight in his hands at the moment.
Yeah, the gap was 0.6 of a second when they crossed the line at the end of lap 1. Well, you can see with your very own eyes, it's well and truly not 0.6 of a second anymore. Cast your eyes to the top left, and you'll see the margin between first and second, or, as always, you can head to gsrc.tv for live timing and scoring of everyone in the field, no matter what we're watching on screen, which is currently an onboard. Over the left shoulder of Dorado, as Claridge particularly strong through the final sector on this lap, I notice.
Yeah, it seems to be, I've watched a few times as well, Mick seems to set his car up, not for the L stage of the race, but he seems to set the car up as for maybe when the track gets a lot warmer as the race goes on, so maybe just not pushing too much at the moment, just letting the track warm up a little bit, and then towards the end of the race you'll start pushing. But behind him he's got Dorado, and behind Dorado you've got Olenek, Trengrade and Nicola Coche, so that we've got a bit of a pack starting to form up here.
With the relatively long back straight as well, you can expect a little bit of, I suppose, a helping hand if you're the chasing car, closing up to the back of the car in front of you as they punch a hole in the air for you. I mean, these cars aren't exactly the cutting edge of aerodynamic efficiency, but it's still a point to be made.
Absolutely. As they come round this long right-hander and Claridge and Dorado now actually starting to pull away a little bit from the rest of the pack, so maybe I doubt it, but maybe these two are maybe working together just to try and pull away at the moment.
I've just picked up a change of position. Gary Teal has navigated his way by Prix, so he's up to 8th place, and I reckon Bill Tyler is coming at Prix at a rate of knots as well, looking to advance himself another spot up the order after getting by and subsequently gapping at Yuri Geisen, who's still got 2 cars or more for close company behind him. All of these drivers in your shot now. There's Geisen, a few car lengths off the back, with a host of cars lined up behind him here as we run off the exit of the last corner, the final corner of Watkins Glen. Quite nice to drive because it tucks you into the apex. The exit's not quite the greatest though, because the track flattens out a bit. The camber falls away and you can understeer it very quickly once you get out of the camber. There's up through the S's, carrying all the speed and almost sliding in some cars through here. Imagine in these cars, probably a bit of sliding going on up the hill.
Yeah, I did some laps here off Glen yesterday, and just in preparation for the broadcast, and up through that S's section after turn 1, it's one of those corners you get ever so tempted to take a flap, but you can't with these cars because really they don't really have that much or hardly any downforce at all, or any aerodynamic downforce, so it's kind of you have to lift a little bit. As Geeson's still under attack from Chris Marikami at the moment, and Chris Marikami is riding on board with Chris as well. He's one of those drivers. He's not the quickest driver, but sometimes he can be right up. He can be up there getting decent results. And at the moment, he's sitting in 12th place and just a couple of positions outside the top 10.
How good is that camera angle as well? You can see how the front left wheel works. Not just left to right, but up and down as well. As all the suspension components going to work out. And did you note that slide from Yuri Geisen right in front of us there as they came out of turn number 10? The rear end almost coming around on him. He'd be under a little bit of pressure right now as well, with Murakami stalking him so close. He's only about a car length or so away from being in that area where he could probably have a look up the inside. He almost got there for turn 1.
Yeah, I think he maybe tried to not go for a look, but just show Yuri that he's behind him. Maybe just sneak out and try and distract him and make him stay on the exit of turn 1. But they come up through the S's now, and it looks like I thought Yuri clipped the wall there for a minute, but it's just he was close to the wall anyway, and it looks like Marikami has got the run as they head down to the bus stop.
can't do anything with it except go slightly offline through the bus stop. A bit too shallow, and that screws up everything, including his entry to the carousel. So overtaking opportunities here. Obviously turn 1's the big one. You've got to make sure you exit well off the final corner to get that one done. And then of course there's the rather optimistic, but definitely still a possibility, move into the bus stop. That one rather relies on the car being overtaken to lift off. If they don't, it becomes very sketchy very quickly. Through the actual boot section, there's not many opportunities. Maybe right at the bottom, but the previous corners got a reasonably fast exit, so getting a run to do so is quite difficult. And then these last two corners simply 90-degree left into 90-degree right. Again, the preceding corner doesn't lend itself to getting a run to be able to poke one up the inside without having a big dive. So really, you're angling for turn 1 or the bus stop.
Absolutely. As looking at the leaders as well coming up through the S's, and yeah, I love the section of the track. It's just because if you nail it, it just feels so rewarding. And with turn 1 as well, you want to try and get a good exit as much as possible, because you want to try and carry as much speed up through the S's section as possible without being uphill, as far as Dorado come through the bus stop now, and Dorado still can't get close enough to try and make a move.
The speed they get up to so quickly as well. They're at 290. Right as Dorado jammed on the brakes to get that one slowed up into the bus stop. So much horsepower through these machines, and they're so old as well. Yeah, imagine tearing these through European circuits back in the day. Not that I can remember it. P8, meanwhile, has a little bit of a battle unfolding. We've covered it a bit already in this one. Gary Teal, Alessandro Parigi, Bill Tyler. So Tyler has very much got to the back of Parigi, but it's looking like Parigi might be coming back at Gary Teal. Last time by, lap times, a 1/10 of a second in favour of the middleman there, but 3/10 quicker than him was Bill Tyler.
Yeah, Bill Tyler's putting in a great run at the moment. He's absolutely flying, and he's caught, like you mentioned, he caught right up to Alessandro, and they put him under huge pressure at the moment. And with Alessandro being under huge pressure, it's allowing Teal ever so slightly just to pull away and build up a bit of a gap, because it looks like Bill Tyler's got the run in Alessandro Parigi possibly as we head down over the line into heading down to turn 1.
P3 is really tightened up. Rob Olenek is coming under a lot of pressure from over at Trengrid. We're on board with him. Down the back straight. Does he get close enough? No, not quite. But he is right there through the bus stop. Pick your line carefully and then get the power down for a short burst and carry it as far as you can into the carousel while keeping it turned. A little bit of banking there certainly helps. And then off into the boot. Coming through the boot means you can carry more speed through the carousel than if you were taking the cup layout, which is fun. But if Ove can keep himself this close through the last sector, he might be close enough for lunge at turn 1.
It's possible. I mean, Ove Trengrid at the moment, it looks to be slightly quicker than Rob at the moment, and for people that watch the past broadcast of the series, they'll recognise how much Ove Trengrid loves to throw his car around and set the car up to be really oversteery. So it seems to be working as his advantage at the moment. But on the other hand, or on the downside rather, if you slide around too much, it can possibly make the rear tyres overheat.
I think Ove is just falling a little bit too far back. Throws it in quite deep to the final braking zone there, but not close enough. So he's about 5 car lengths back as they cross the line in terms of time. That equates to 4/10 of a second, which is curiously also the gap between first and second. So let's go there and have a look at it. Through the S's, to the eye it looks a bit bigger actually. Dorado behind Claridge. If we can get a shot down the back straight, you'll see all 4 of these guys as they come down the back straight. Claridge, Dorado, Olenek, and Trangareed filtering into the bus stop. And 5th place, Nicola Kochi, is entering the picture quite quickly. Last time by 3/10 quicker than Olenek, 4/10 quicker than Trangareed.
Yeah, he's just been been putting down consistent laps at the moment, and just been not doing anything silly, and he's catching right up to Ovi and Rob in front of him, and we could be on for a freeway battle for the final step on the podium. And Nicola has been one of those drivers that he's been quick in this car at times, but he's just not had the luck. And if it wasn't for having bad luck last season, he could have been up there challenging for the championship.
Ooh, Trangareed just had to catch a little snap of oversteer as he fought for traction, exiting the corner, and then fighting for traction through the next corner was the man in front of him, Rob Olenek. And that'll make Ove's eyes light up just a little bit. But still, has he done enough on this lap? Put himself in prime position for turn 1? No, not quite. Runs a little bit wide out of the final corner. Nicola Kochi gets ever closer. Another 45.5. So that's 2 laps in a row at the same lap time. This time it's half a second quicker than Olenek and Trangareed, who goes slower than the previous lap. So looking really good if you're Nicola Kochi, but can you pass? Is the question.
That's a good question indeed. And as they come up to the exit of the S's, it looks like Trangareed might have a run on Olenek as they head up to the bus stop, but he's not close enough. Come right carousel. Oops, sorry, Ryan.
No worries. It's okay, Ryan. It's lapped car about to get in the way. This is it's Rafael Dorado. Okay, so Dorado, I'm going to say, has made a mistake through the bus stop, and he has fallen right back into the clutches of the P3 battle. That checked up Olenek. Trangareed saw an opportunity and went to the outside at the bottom of the boot. And it's allowed Kochi up the inside. So Kochi moves up into P4. Trangareed drops a spot. And Dorado suddenly a long way away from the race lead.
Yeah, I just watched the replay from my end, and it looks like Rafael Dorado just carried too much speed on the entry to the bus stop, and he got a slowdown.
Gonna get a replay of it for you up on your screen. This is what happens to Rafael Dorado as he comes up through the S's. Mick Claridge in front of him now. At this point, it was 0.6 of a second. Now it's 2.4 seconds. We're on board with him, and he's just going to push it a bit too deep in the braking zone. And then, can't get it pulled up and turn to the right. Goes straight across the grass on the inside. Throws him offline with the grass on the next stage of the bus stop, and probably gave him the slowdown to clear as well, which is what allowed the rest to close right up.
And what that's done as well is gave Mick Claridge a chance to get away and build a bit of breathing space and build up about 2.5 second gap. So Mick Claridge, like last season, he was under pressure in the early stages, and the others behind him have made mistakes, and it's allowed Mick again in the first race of the season to pull away and just build a bit of breathing space for him.
Yeah, so Claridge can afford to breathe a bit easier now as we pass race distance, and it suddenly looks a lot easier for him. Not easy, though, by any means. Dorado's starting to ease back away from Olenek. There is Claridge up on your screen in his yellow number 2 machine. Cruising away. Like a Sunday drive. Gary Teal, meanwhile, was still being shadowed by Parigi and Tyler, but still it seems neither of these two chasing cars can get close enough. It's really seeming like they're just struggling to pass out there today, right?
Yeah, that's found with these cars as well. With in a way, I think the slipstream, it doesn't really matter as much in this car, but around a track like Watkins Glen, if you're stuck in the slipstream, especially in a pack, it just makes it difficult to try and make a move. So at the moment, I think Gary Teal, he's doing a good job holding on to this P8, and but Alessandro and Bill Taylor are just still waiting in the wings if he makes a mistake.
We'll go back up to the front though. The top 5 battle, or the podium battle. Kochi, after getting by Trengareed, rather gifted that spot. Setting sights now on Olenek. Has fallen into the trap that Trengareed fell into. About 4 or 5 car lengths back, not close enough to look. And not able to claw that last little distance closer to the tailpipes to be able to summon up the inside. At this point, it's a pressure cooker. You're just trying to force the other driver into a mistake, but in these cars, mistakes are not uncommon. In fact, I think I've seen everyone make a mistake in this group. They're all sliding. Olenek sliding there, but not by much. Dorado's still edging away from them, and he's edging back towards Claridge, but only at a 10th of a second on the last lap. So, if he's going to get there, he needs to pick up the pace just a fraction. Down the main straight we go. Under 10 laps to go now. It is 9 to go. Here at Watkins Glen, a 45.9 for Claridge, a 45.6 for Dorado. That's more like it for him. 46.0 for Olenek, 45.9 for Kochi, 45.8 for Trengareed. And that 1/10 of a second that Kochi found has put him right on the back of Olenek. But Olenek was super committed up through the S's and managed to pull a car length. A crucial car length.
Yeah, absolutely. Olenek he was absolutely committed, like you say, up through the S's, and he just basically never lifted by the looks of it, and he's doing absolutely everything to keep hold of this P3 at the moment. But Kochi and Trengareed at the moment are still keeping him honest, and I think this battle is going to go right down to what's riding on board Trengareed at the moment. He's getting sideways there as he just managed to hold it.
Oh, that's definitely a mistake from Olenek. He was much wider than he's ever been through there. He's certainly sliding more than the others at this stage, I would think. And Kochi went very deep on the brakes and thought about looking up the inside. It forced Olenek just to open up the steering a little bit. And he ran wide again, and now he's defending as Kochi is right there with him. One of the best opportunities we've seen today to make a move, but going to the outside of that corner is almost suicide. Because you're coming over a crest and turning so far delayed, you lose more than you can ever gain going around the outside there, as displayed by Kochi for us. Back to square one.
Yeah, absolutely. As they come across the line now, and we've got eight laps to go, and Claridge still is just by himself. Dorado is pulling away from these guys, and they've still got this 3-car battle for third place. And behind this pack as well, there's not really anyone challenging. So at the moment, it's mainly a 3-car battle. It's coming up through the S's now, and it looks like Kochi is going to be under attack from Ilve Trengareed on the run up to the bus stop.
Trengareed tucked right in behind those rear tyres up through the S's, but was so close that he had absolutely no extra speed going down the back straight. So when he pulled out, he went nowhere, and he wasn't alongside into the braking zone, so he will stay behind Kochi for now. Claridge meanwhile responded to Dorado's pace, improved his pace by 0.3 of a second over his previous lap, and it ends up being 0.2 quicker than Dorado's previous lap. So Claridge responds, and Dorado's mission gets harder again. I think anything Dorado's got now is going to be answered by Claridge. I don't think Claridge is pushing as hard as he can. There's no reason for him to. He can just manage that gap, keep responding to whatever Dorado throws at him. Love the old school get-up that these virtual avatars adorn when we jump into our old school cars on the iRacing service. We've got our old school director in the booth for this series. He didn't like that comment.
But anyway, yeah, riding on board with Dorado heading into turn 1, and yeah, I think Claridge at this point of the race is just maintaining the gap. Just he's not overdriving, he's not pushing all the time. He's just maintaining that gap, just doing what he has to do. And I think at this point, with 7 laps to go in the race, Dorado, he doesn't have an answer. And I think Dorado, he's just I think he's doing something similar as well, just trying to maintain that second place. As he's pulling away from this battle for P3 behind him.
Olenek was completely sideways through the S's, but despite all this slipping and sliding he's doing, he's maintaining pace. At least over the drivers behind. It's not got much comparative to drivers in front, which are Claridge and Dorado, but doing enough for a podium at the moment is Olenek. I do wonder, though, if those tyres are going to start to really scream and protest when we get closer to the end of this one. Into our final couple of laps, maybe, he might really start to struggle from the amount of probably overheating those tyres are going through. Every time you slide, tyres are going to raise up in temps.
Yeah, it's possible. I think what was it? Just watching coaches, really gets a bit sideways and manages to hold it. But yeah, I think the person that's in the prime position in this battle is Ovi Trengri. He's just sitting there. He could just sit there, plan what he's going to do if he gets close enough, and maybe go for it on the last lap.
Mick Claridge comes up with a laps car. Paul Foster, who stays right and well out of the way. Foster running 19th in this race. 3 laps down now after picking up damage earlier on in this event. A couple of retirements as well. Robert Plumley, Antonio Reis, and Angelica Pawlowski have all retired from this race, so 21 cars left running.
It's still a good number of cars running, and I think it's a good.
Whoa! Fuck!
Ooh.
Through the bus stop, and Trengri was strange, isn't it? It is sharp. Meanwhile, that's allowed Kochi and Olenek to get side by side, and Olenek trying to fend off Kochi. Not going to do it out there, buddy. Kochi goes up to P3, and all of that good work from Olenek goes down the drain just like that.
Yeah, the battle's still going on as well. Olenek and Kochi are still going at it, and it's all kicking off in the closing stages of the race now. As this battle's still going on, and I have to say, ride for the first round of the season. I think this is a good preview of what to expect in the rest of the season.
Certainly, Trengri has had to take the tow back to pit lane with a distinct lack of an engine cover now on his car. He'll be sorely disappointed with that after challenging for most of this race for a podium spot. Now just 5 laps left in this 20-lap opener for the season, as up front, Mick Claridge carrying a 2.8 second advantage, still responding to everything Dorado throws at him, and overall is the quicker car. The gap has opened up over what it was a few laps ago. Even though Dorado was 2 tenths quicker last lap, I expect that Claridge will probably be quicker again on the next one. Kochi in third is 2.6 seconds behind Dorado, sitting in third, and has about 6 tenths in hand over Olenek in fourth. That battle between Prix, Teal and Tyler, Prix finally got by Teal and has ran away, but Bill Tyler has not been able to do so.
Yeah, Tyler's stuck behind Teal at the moment, and he can't really do anything about it at the moment. He's come through the S's now. I think Tyler's best chances, trying to get a good exit on the exit of the S's, and he's getting closer a little bit, but I don't think he's close enough as we head up to the bus stop now. So maybe the best chance for Tyler is to try and get a good run on the exit final corner, heading onto the home straight.
Up the hill, a little bit of elevation change. Well, I should say a lot of elevation change at Watkins Glen. Obviously up through the S's, but also when you dip down through the boot section and back up to rejoin the level at which most of the track sits on. Tyler, last lap, was quite a bit quicker than Gary Teal, 0.4 of a second. On this lap, Teal improves by quite a bit, and Tyler does the same time, so Teal actually pulls away by a 10th. 4 to go now.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
No, I'll let you finish.
I tell you what, after being released, Nicola Cocci's pace is pretty good. Quickest car on the track last time, bud.
Yeah, I was just watching his lap times as well. His pace is absolutely just picked up big time, and I don't know if you can or not, but I'm just looking at Rafael Dorado as well to see what the gap is, and actually looking at it, Cocci is not too far behind when you think about it. If he can just keep doing some clean laps and some clean hot laps, if you like, I think he might be able to close that gap down there possibly.
Yuri Geisen just run into an issue. Sitting in 14th. Yeah, that is an issue. Here's a replay. And it's already happened by this point, so through the bus stop. Expect it to be the trouble spot at this point already. No nose on the car. And then there she goes. Oop, oop. Yeah,
Whoop.
there it goes.
Yeah, I think might have just lost. I was just about to say, he might have just lost it in the bus stop, and just with the damage, it might have just affected the handling. But unfortunately, that's over for Yuri. But back up at the front, Mick Claridge is still leading with a good gap behind him, a 2.5 second gap, and maintaining that gap to Rafael Dorado. And it all seems to have, hopefully I'm not jinxing it, but it all seems to have, Mick Claridge gets a bit, he goes a bit offline in the middle of the bus stop, but not jinxing it, seems to be having a good start to the season.
That's the second noticeable mistake I've seen from him in the last lap. He sailed off down into the bottom of the boot and ran quite a bit wide as well last time by. And then there through the bus stop, he drops it into the grass. So I wonder if he's been running his tyres pretty hard. Remember, Olenek was running his tyres through many slides. His pace hasn't dropped off as I thought it would. Nicola Cocci is no longer pulling away from him at a rapid rate of knots.
Yeah, absolutely not. As Olenek is still real close to Cocci, and yeah, it was a shame he lost the car from this battle, because it was a 3-car battle for the final step in the podium, but now it's down to 2. And I think if I'm Olenek, I would rather just wait behind Cocci, plan what I'm going to do, and if I'm close enough on the last lap or the final couple of laps and I get a run, then that's when you pounce.
Well, let's see if he agrees with you. Another poor lap from Claridge as a result of that mistake. His gap shrinks to 1.9. Cocci, Olenek, Dorado all quicker than him on that lap. Up through the S's. Is Olenek close enough into the bus stop? Not quite. A few lapped cars. PJ Gordy and Osmar Schultz getting navigated by the race leaders as well.
PJ Gowdy I recognise from the Weekend Warriors League, so it's good to see PJ giving the Lotus 49 a shot as well. And in 20th, but he's still going. But it's
oh, that's tight. That's 4 wide. Hello. That was two lapped cars getting caught at the same time by two other cars that were side by side of the lead lap. Kochin and Olenek are still wheel to wheel. They've almost touched about 3 or 4 times, and Olenek goes real deep, too deep, into the bottom of the boot. That corner is catching them all out today.
That is a tricky corner. It's one of those corners that you don't want to run too wide, because you've got a bit of slippery concrete in the middle of the corner. And if you get on that, you just run wide, or you understeer wide basically. But Kochi, or Olenek rather, just about ran wide, so wide. Is it Kochi's around?
And that is going to be heartbreaking for Kochi. Remarkably, only loses 1 spot to Olenek. Here's the onboard. Was there contact? Bump through the car. Look at this from the rear view.
Yeah, right. Looking at the rear view, looking at Olenek, and I wonder if Olenek, it looks like he just might have Kochi might have just missed the apex, or missed the entry ever so slightly and just ran wide. And Olenek must have thought there was a gap there and went for it, and it unfortunately ended up in contact. As it looks like we're on to the final lap.
We're on to the final lap. Kochi is limping the car home, currently 5th. Don't think it'll finish there. The car is in a very, very bad way. I think steering, engine, everything hurt wrong with it at the moment. There was a massive battle for P6 as well in the background. But up front, Mick Claridge is having the time of his life. Through the boot for the final tie, Mick Claridge started this one from the pole. Had some early pressure from behind from Rafael Dorado. Dorado then made that mistake, and ever since then, Claridge has had pretty much everything to respond to Dorado's times behind. And as he comes back up onto the full, always used part of the Watkins Glen circuit for the final time, it's going to be the first win of Season 4, 2020 for Mick Claridge. It's going to come in round 1, the Grand Prix Legends Series at Watkins Glen International. Mick Claridge gets it done. He gets his checkered flag, and let's go back to that P6 battle. Gary Teal has just been unceremoniously catapulted out of 7th by Bill Tyler, and that has allowed Alessandro Parigi to pull away from them into the last couple of corners. Kochi, meanwhile, has dropped all the way back to 9th.
Yep, and it looks like everyone's settled down now. Or basically, that's most of the battles over and done with. As Gary Teal, strangely, he actually decides not to try and get to the finish line. He just dives right into the pits.
I wonder if he's picked up 17 incidents right on the final lap there and had to serve the drive-through, but he's had no choice to come to pit road. Let's see where he gets churned out in the timings at the end of this then, as he crosses the line in pit lane. Let's go to a break here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Stay with us on the other side of this. Your 4 results from Watkins Glen. Welcome back to Watkins Glen International, our round one coverage of the Grand Prix Legends series here on the Global SimRacing Channel. We've wrapped up the race, and this is how it looks after 20 laps of running. Mick Claridge winning by 2.2 seconds over Rafael Dorado. Rob Olenek finishes in third. Philip Lake in fourth. Alessandro Perilli fifth, ahead of Bill Tyler in sixth. Chris Murakami finishes seventh. Thomas Torp in eighth. Nicola Coach will be wondering what could have been with only a ninth place finish. Marlon Williams 10th at the end of that one, 49 seconds back.
Finishing 11th was Colin Bentley after starting 24th, a great result for him. 12th after starting in 22nd was John Vetrano. And 13th was Jan Lehman, Gary Teal on 14th. 15th was Osmar Schultz. 16th, Sebastian Texier. And 17th was Yuri Giesen, and the rest of the pack were either one lap back or retired from the race or were too far back to be classified.
Yep, Paul Foster, Robert Plumley, Antonio Rees, and Roman Pavlovsky round out your 24 cars that made the top split of this race. Let's have a chat to Rafael Dorado then, who finishes this one in second place after starting from second place. Rafael, though, in terms of pace, it looked like you had enough to match Mick. Certainly, the mistake you made didn't help matters in terms of trying to find a way by him.
Yeah, I think I had a great race. I am very happy with my result, even though I didn't win, because I was kind of spying on Mick during the week to see his practice, how much he was practicing and his pace. And the dude did 12 hours of practice this week, which is insane. I mean, I do a lot of practice, but I usually average around 10 hours a week. And just this week, Mick did 12 hours. So just to be able to keep up with Mick after he'd done so much practice and he has so much experience in this car, I am very happy with the result.
Hey, well, if you're happy with the result, then that's all that matters. And the second place is certainly very good, and it sets you in good stead as we begin the season here at Watkins Glen. Back to the normal 12-week calendar. So looking ahead, what are you eyeing off for your championship aspirations?
I want to win. Yeah. Last championship I was learning, but this one I want to win for sure.
Haha, yes. Set the goals and then go and smash them. So go win the title. This is what we want to see from you, Rafael. And certainly, there's only one swap better you've got to do to get it done next time out. Will you looking to put in a bit more preparation next week? And if you do you think you've got what it takes to get by Mick? Or whoever else could?
Yeah, I mean, probably it will be Mick again, as always, because he's the benchmark in this series, really. And I see that I need to step up my game if I want to be able to start winning, because he is on a mission as well. I mean, he's not slowing down.
Yeah, he's pretty good, isn't he? But for you, second place today, who you want to thank for helping you get it done?
I want to thank all of the Lotus 49 community, of course. A group of great guys. It's always really fun racing with them. Also, I want to thank Christian Challenger for helping me out with giving me some driving tips, some preparation tips, and help with setups. And also thanks the GSRC broadcast, because you guys always do a great job. So I'm always really happy to watch the broadcast back to back.
Thank you very much. We will pass it on to Stefan, who is normally the man up here in the booth. You'll have him back next week, don't worry. But thank you, Rafael. Good job today.
Thank you very much, guys.
Rafael Dorado comes home with a second place finish, but it was one better than second for the man joining us now, setting bar with Ryan Walker.
Yeah, Mick Claridge having a great race and a great start to the season. Starting in pole position, managed to hold on to that first position for all of the race. And Mick, you were under pressure from Rafael in the early stages of the race until he made that mistake in the bus stop, and that allowed you to pull away. But you must have been thinking, you must have been thinking that Raphael was going to make a move at some point.
I was expecting it, yeah. He'll probably been telling you the same story I'm going to, but we've put in so much work. He just told me now that we've both done 12 hours practice altogether, in our separate sessions, on VRS, following each other. And he was fast straight away this week. He should have won Thursday. He gapped me Thursday easily. I was nowhere Thursday, so I'd done so much work on the car to get it quick. And it should have been closer in qualifying because he messed up his first lap, and the first lap's always the fastest lap. So it should have been closer in qualifying, maybe half a tenth in it, if that. And then it would have been the same all the way through the race. There's just no difference in lap time between us. So yes, I was expecting it. Our cars were different. Our cars were quicker in different places. So I was quicker up the S's, and then he was quicker through the rest of the lap. So it was like a real lottery what was going to happen, where he would make a move, or, if I could get away. So, yeah, it's a shame he got, I think he got a slowdown, did he? I didn't even know. But I just looked in the mirror and he was gone. So I assumed he got a slowdown in the bus stop, which is annoying, Should have been a good battle all the way through there. He deserved to be able to battle me there because he did have the pace this week.
And with regards to that, for the new season, do you think, is there anyone, do you think, or is there anyone that you think could challenge you for the championship, or anyone that it's worth keeping an eye on, or do you think Raphael could be one of your main threats?
He's going to be one of my main threats, yeah. But there's, as you know yourself, you got all the guys there: Nick, Rob, Uwe. Uwe doesn't practice whatsoever. He won the race last night, which was a joke. So yeah, all the guys, all the main guys. I think Michel's coming back halfway through the season, so he's going to mix it up. If he turns up, he's going to scare us all, So yeah, no, it's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be a close battle all season, I think.
And lastly, heading into next week at Laguna Seca, is it a track you enjoy racing on? And if so, do you think it'll be? Do you think you can win again next week, or do you think it'll be a lot more closer, a lot tighter due to the nature of the track?
I don't think it'll be as tight as it was between me and Raphael today, but it's not one of my favourite tracks at all, and I'm not going to be out of practice until Thursday night anyway, so I'm going to be down on practice. So if I can get on the podium next week, I'll be happy with that because, yeah, I'm going to be on the back foot from the word go.
And lastly, before we let you go, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to or any thanks to?
Oh, yeah, there's loads of people. They all know who they are, but the main two are the McKenzie brothers, and you can mess with them now.
Oh, okay. Good to hear. Well, thanks for joining us in the booth, Mick. Congratulations.
Did that throw you off, Ryan? Did that throw you off, mate?
Yeah. Well, when it comes to when it comes to you,
okay,
Mick, you always throw me off. So yeah.
Ryan, never mess with the McKenzie brothers. How's that?
Yeah, that sounds good enough.
All right, cheers, guys. See you later.
That was the race winner, Mick Clara, joining us in the booth, and Ryan, for a first round of the season, that was really good racing.
It was, and it sets a good benchmark and a precedent for the rest of the season to follow. But that does us for today's show here from Watkins Glen International. So as always, a big thanks to all the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcasts, which are listed there on your screen, as well as Unilon, who provides all of our music. You can see the screen for how to get a hold of any of them. Big thanks as well to Sean and Ryan here with me today in the booth. If you want to find out more about GSRC, you can find it on Global SimRacing Channel.com or on social media at GSR Channel on Twitter, Facebook at Global SimRacing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Gram. Make sure to hit subscribe to us on YouTube as well. And check out the other races you've got coming up listed there on your screen. And hey, mark them down in the calendar because they will be good fun. But tonight, from all us here in the booth, thanks for joining us, and until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.